at AARC 2024 here in Orlando, Florida for another beautiful episode of RT Sidebar. And I have two wonderful clinicians here with me today. We are going to talk about something very interesting because there's something that the three of us have in common that sometimes people say we went to the dark side. So we're going to get to that, but first, as always, thank you for being here.
Of course.
My lovely friends. Randy, would you like to introduce yourself and where you work and where you're from?
Yeah, so my name is Randy. I have been in industry for about a year and a half now. I work for Aerogen.
Okay.
So I came from the bedside as a nurse. I worked as a nurse for about 5 years. Basically, mainly pulmonary, trach vent patients, asthmas, broncholytics, patients like that. Lots of trach vents. A lot of education with going home on trachs. I was a trach educator, kind of all the things. So I really fell in love with the pulmonary aspect of nursing. I didn't know stepping into that I would stay there for so long, but I did because I truly did fall in love with it. And then I do have some experience with some NICU and PICU as well.
That's
so
awesome.
That's my long story short background.
A nurse that loves lungs.
Yes.
That's okay.
Yes.
So I need for you to introduce my other friend over here because we have some history.
Yes.
So please tell me about your friend over here.
Yeah, so this is my friend Jessica. She's been working with me at Aerogen for about 6 months now, so I'll let her take it over.
Yeah, so my name's Jessica Messler. I am the clinical ace for the Southeast. So I am still a clinician. I'm a respiratory therapist. I keep and hold my license. And I still work PRN at the bedside.
You do?
I do. Not a lot of people know that about me. I do that just to keep my skills up because I never want to lose those skills. But I've been in industry for about 3 years now. So I was in a previous role as a critical care product manager covering the whole entire United States. So yeah, you know how I got my start, but to tell everybody.
Let's talk about how we know each other.
Yes. So I started as a new grad at Atrium Health, and before then I was a student at Stanley Community College. So me and Matt got to know each other because he interviewed me for a position at Stanley Community College. Shout out to my peeps there, Jamie, Ashlyn, Amy. Yes, but yeah, so it was nice to come into industry and get to see a familiar face.
So that's the interesting part, right? So we went to industry, and people always say we went to the dark side. But it's not really the dark side, is it?
No.
I mean, I don't believe so.
Because you were at another place too before you went to Aerogen.
Correct. Yes, I was.
So what made you? Tell me your story about why you switched. Because people always ask me, how did you end up in industry?
Yes.
So go ahead.
So I think my story's a little interesting because I kind of always thought that I would end up in industry at some point, but kind of later on in life. I thought that I really needed more experience as a nurse, like a more well-developed, all of these things, you know. You kind of always talk yourself, if you're anything like me, I'm always like, I'm not enough, like I need to develop this aspect of my life, you know, whatever the excuse may be. So I was at a point where I had worked on the pulmonary floor for about 5 years, and I was just ready for something a little bit different. I had cross-trained in the NICU at that job too, so that I had about 3 years of cross-training in the NICU. So I decided, you know what? My friend works at a different hospital in Alabama, where I'm from, and she has an opening for a PICU travel position there. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to try for it, and I ended up doing that travel position for about 4 months. And during that time, I decided I'm going to move from Birmingham to Huntsville, where I'm kind of from.
Okay.
So I was in the process of moving all of my stuff over. So all of my stuff was in storage. I was staying with my mom. I was with a realtor, like looking for houses. And I get a call from a person at a company that I knew. And he said, hey, I had kind of expressed interest in industry before.
Yeah, okay.
So I went to AARC and when it was in New Orleans. What year was that?
Right after COVID or right before COVID?
I think it was the first ARC after COVID.
After COVID.
So whatever year that was, 2021, 2022 maybe, I went to the ARC as with some RT friends, and I had met all these people, networked all of the things, expressed interest, and lo and behold, I guess I stuck out in somebody's mind, and he called me. And it was kind of just right place, right time. And he said, "Hey, there's a position open in Nashville. What do you feel about this? It's a sales role. This is what it would look like. This is what it entails." And I said, "You know what? This is a great opportunity. I'm kind of in between things right now. My contract is about to end. It just really lined up so perfectly. And I had always thought I'll do this later on in life, but why not just try it now?" So I went for the role, and I got the role, and I started it. And now looking back, I'm like, I can't believe I thought I needed more time. It was the right time. I am well developed as a clinician. I wasn't giving myself enough credit, I don't think. So that's kind of my story on how I got here.
That is awesome.
Yeah, into industry.
So I remember the first time I saw you at a conference, and you're dressed very nicely, and I'm like, she's working in industry. And I'm like, Jessica, how did you end up in industry?
So it's kind of a crazy story. So I went to travel as a traveling respiratory therapist out in Colorado, and I was always been very active on LinkedIn. So I documented all of my traveling out in Colorado, like me bajaing the Forerunner all throughout the BLM land,
That is so awesome.
all of the mountains and exploring, and then just my time, because I went from being at a level 1 trauma center to being at a very small hospital, and so I was like documenting like the transition from being at a level 1 trauma center to being the only therapist at a small hospital during the heat of COVID. On LinkedIn, and so just posting all about my travels, and I was like hashtag traveling and stuff. So someone from HR, the president of HR for a company that I started my industry career at, reached out to me on LinkedIn and asked for my resume. So I just posted my resume on LinkedIn, and had it bulleted at the very top. And so I sent it to her, forgot I even sent it to her, finished my contract, was back home, literally got an offer to go to Ocala, Florida that day. And she called me, and I'm sitting in mine and my husband's bed, face mask on, reading. I'm a nerd, y'all know I read textbooks, so I'm reading a textbook for fun.
Yeah, that definitely does not surprise me about her.
And she calls me, and she's like, "Hi, I would like to interview you for this role." And I thought it was a scam. So I was like, "Oh, this is a scam. I don't believe this."
It's a Nigerian prince, right?
Yeah, I was like, "This is a scam. You don't want me like nobody from industry is calling me to come and interview to be a U.S. critical care product manager role." And so I was like, "Okay, prove you're not a scammer." And so they made me go onto their website and actually prove that they were who they were. Right? Yes.
Is that how you asked?
That is how I asked. 100%. And that
Oh my gosh.
that is a laughing thing for my old company that I used to be with, that Jessica thought it was a scam when
That's
she got
so
hired. So I interviewed with a full mud mask on my face.
Stop it.
For the role. And I was like, "Hey guys, like I really would love this role, but I just got an offer for a travel contract in Ocala, Florida, and you guys know how travel contracts work. When you get the official offer, you have 24 hours to accept, pack your bags, and head on, especially in COVID."
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I was like, if I turn this down, you're making me lose money out of my pocket. So I need to know if I turn this down, I have a promised job. So I kind of put them in a position too, because I'm like, I need to know after this call ends, if I turn this down, that I have a promised job with you guys. So it kind of made them work a little bit to be like, is this really the one we want? Because we're right in the middle of the interview process, but I have to choose her, because if not, she's going to be gone. And they said, don't accept the offer. And
Nice.
so I did not accept the travel contract, and I knew that I was going to get an offer from them, and we worked everything out after they offered me the position. But keeping a really strong LinkedIn was how they found me.
So that's what I got from both of your stories. It's the network. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
You had a virtual network, you had some friends, you came to ARC with RTs. It's the group that you keep around you that gives you that
Absolutely.
opportunity. Yes, you have to be clinically sound, but and to be honest, my story's not that much different. I was just outside of Philadelphia, during COVID, and we got beat up, like really beat up. And I was just tired. But during COVID, I made a connection with the CEO of Equithorm, Joe Army. And I just, like, when I had enough, he's like, Matt, when you're ready, give me a call. I think I have a place for you. And I did. And I had it, and he just, we got you. So, like, yes, having a great base of clinical knowledge, because you were like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm ready.
Yeah.
But having a great base gives you a lot of legitimacy, but the networking gives you the
Absolutely.
opportunity. So there's always a question about this, and people just assume that you go in industry for
Right.
the cash. The money's okay, I'm not going to say it's not, but everybody has their why. Randy, what was your why? Like, why did you do this?
So I think my why is, like I said, I was just kind of hungry, but what is the most important to me is that what I'm doing matters, and I am promoting a product that helps people. So, when I was a nurse, it was, patient first. I was a pediatric nurse, so it was like my babies. And so my why was, how can I maybe do this a little bit behind the scenes or in a different way? And I think that I definitely found that with Aerogen. I'm still helping the exact patients I was helping before. It's just a different manner, and it still matters, and it's still impactful.
I think that's important. So you said a couple things I really like. You believed in the product.
Right.
You have to. If you're just slinging plastics,
Yeah.
No, we're not used car
that's not
salesmen.
No.
That's not what I'm interested in at all.
But you found it that it matched you, right? So it matched you.
Absolutely.
That this is good for me, but it's also good because I get to continue my mission.
Right.
I know when we first talked, that's the thing that drew you. Like,
Yeah.
you could help more people.
Absolutely.
That's your why, right?
Yes, that is 100% my why. And so I worked in a level 1 trauma center during the heat of COVID in the COVID ICU and in the ED. And so I was seeing all these patients just go to their demise from COVID. And I was like, wow, I'm just one person, but what could I do to be bigger and to help many people? And whenever the job offer came through for me to go into industry and to be able to develop products and bring products into the United States, that's not only going to be able to touch one patient, but all respiratory patients. I was like, this is so much bigger than what I ever thought I could be, and I could help drive the future of respiratory and drive the future of helping patients.
I love that.
I do too.
I love that so much.
Because it warms your heart.
Yeah.
When a lot of people grow in healthcare, because when you're at the bedside, you can only see one patient at a time,
Yeah.
right?
True.
But when you develop and maybe go up into management or education or even industry, you can help more people. Like, so your scope gets bigger, and then it gives you so much more satisfaction. Because what I love about industry, I know what's coming next. You know what I mean? That's kind of, I always feel like I'm peeking behind the curtain a little bit.
Yeah.
Going, what's going
Yeah.
on? Like, you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to get this into clinicians' hands. It
Yeah.
is so much fun. That's the good part, right?
Yeah.
Being here at ARC doing a podcast is a good part,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
Very
But
fun.
not everything is so glamorous. What are, like, if anybody's listening to the podcast and they say, I'm thinking about industry, what should people be aware of?
Oh goodness. I mean, there's so many things. There are so many pros, so many cons. I, of course, think that the pros outweigh the cons, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think the first thing that I think about is depending on your role. So you might be a rep with a smaller region, or you might be someone like me or Jessica. We're a clinician and we're an educator, so we have kind of larger regions with a lot of reps under, or not under us, but like with us in our belts. And with that comes a lot of travel. And a lot of travel, there's pros and cons about that. A pro being you get to see a lot of different places and, places that you might have never been to or would have never gone previously or for any other reason. But there's also a lot of window time where you're in the car driving for hours and hours and hours to get to an appointment, to spend 30 minutes there, to then drive hours and hours and hours to go to a different appointment. So there's a lot of that. So if you don't love driving, you're gonna struggle.
Or flying.
If you don't like flying. If you don't like flying,
Don't do it.
you're gonna struggle.
Yeah.
So time management with that too. Think about all the packing and unpacking and all of that. It's every
I
single
always
week.
feel like I'm party planning.
I know.
Like for myself, in a weird way. Travel has its perks. Don't
It
get me
does.
wrong.
Absolutely.
But you're away from your family.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
And our expectation is to be gone just about every single week.
Yeah.
If not just about. It's-
80% of the time. Like that's kind of the
80%?
That's the expectation from us.
expectation. Yeah. So Monday through Thursday is pretty much out in the field, and then Fridays are back at home to have an office day where you plan your travels
Right.
for the next time.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So lots of planning and lots of traveling. Also, airlines don't always have to be very reliable. So
That's
you have delays and you have them losing your bags. I have a terrible story of whenever I had a big physicians meeting in New York City.
Tell us.
And I flew out on a Sunday evening, but work-life balance, like I want to have my weekend. So I flew out last flight out to LaGuardia on a Sunday night. They lost my bag, and my physician meeting was at 6 a.m. in the morning on Monday.
no.
So I didn't have time to get stuff. So I called the regional sales manager who had a car, and I was like, hey, come pick me up. You have to take me somewhere. The only place I was at was Walmart. So I'm running through Walmart 5 minutes before they close, grabbing scrubs, tennis shoes, panties, bras, makeup,
No.
everything you would have packed. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And so imagine like the stress that puts on you to be like, okay, 5 minutes before Walmart closes, I just went and grabbed everything from Walmart that I could possibly need. And going to this physician meeting, all my product wasn't there. So my product was in my bag.
Wow.
So we had to drive to the regional sales manager's place to get the product
Oh my
because
God.
all my product was in my bag.
Jeez
so
Louise.
yeah, they're not always reliable. So it's an
Yeah.
extra layer of stress of being like, okay, well if I have a really important, like a super important meeting, do I take a flight even though it's going to be cutting into my weekend earlier just in case something
You leave on a
happens?
Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah, just to be cautious so that doesn't happen to you. Because I mean, the physicians, how understanding are they going to be that the airline lost my bag?
Yeah.
I mean, they're expecting you to be there to present to them on why you're introducing the product or how they're expected to roll the product out,
And you don't have the product.
and you don't have the product.
Oh my God.
You're not. I was in scrubs, like. I was just like, well, scrubs it is, because
Oh, that's
Walmart doesn't
stressful.
have the dress clothes, and presenting to some
Yeah.
physicians, you want to be like top notch, all decked out, but I'm in scrubs, Walmart scrubs.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Well, it's like
hey
it's a crazy story, but that stuff happens.
It
It
does.
happens a lot. I think
Do you have a crazy story?
So I think my worst story that I can think of off the top of my head was I had been gone all week. It was like a weeker where we're launching a new product, and it was just one of those weeks. I always say there are really super busy travel weeks, and there are moderately busy travel weeks. There's just different.
Oh, I know.
So this one was one of the heavy ones. I think I might have even flown out on a Sunday. I'm getting back on Friday. So I'm ready to be home. I get back. I find my car at the airport. My rim is on the ground. My tire
that's
was
worse.
so flat, as
Oh,
flat
that's
as could possibly be. So I got in late. And so then I'm having to call, the people to help me try to get my tire back on. So it just added a few hours of, I'm not home when I know it was coming to me earlier. So yeah, that's my worst travel story. I know that's not like too horrible, but when you're ready to go home, you're ready to be home. And
I was just talking to Melissa from Nebraska. I went to go visit her in Nebraska and give the keynote speech at their society conference. I was nervous, and I'm not a nervous guy. Like I can talk about anything. And I'm sitting at dinner going through my PowerPoint, and I spilled a soda on my computer.
Oh my God.
Gone, and I didn't save it.
Oh no.
what do you do?
So, first off, you freak out. That's what I did. I freaked
I'm
out.
like freaking out for you in this moment.
So what I did is I went to a business computer that I had in the lobby of the hotel and remade my PowerPoint.
Oh wow.
Oh my gosh, how long did it take?
About 3 hours.
Jeez.
And I was
Louise.
going to be on stage in 3.5.
Oh
so
my goodness.
I'm getting it done and then walking directly there. I'm like, oh my god, oh my.
No,
Heart-
that's so
heart pounding.
stressful.
You're just like, but we all have a story like that.
Yeah.
So if it's tough, if it's challenging, tell me, we know your why, but what is a really fun story? Tell me.
Oh my gosh, we have one.
Yeah.
Yes, it involves us together. So, the one really big benefit of working in industry, especially having a large territory that you cover, is you get to see all kinds of nice, cool places, and you get to make really good friends.
Yes.
So, Randy and I, we met at Aerogen, and now we're like completely best friends outside of work too. Like we call each other.
Yeah, all the time. And it's funny because I was actually talking about this with Jessica yesterday. You know, when you leave the bedside, and you're in industry, it's like you lose your people that you have
do
been
lose your people,
been
that's
relating to. So it's hard to relate to those people anymore because you're doing completely different things. And so it's like it's so nice to have Jessica out in the field with me because she can relate to me. She knows what's going on with me on a daily basis, and it's like you get super close super fast to these people.
Yeah.
And so
and then you get to make memories. Like we did an event in Tampa, and so of course there's beaches. So
Of course.
we just got done with our education, and we had the rest of the day to ourselves. So
On the
we were
beach.
yes.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we went shopping at Walmart to get glasses, hats, like everything to go to the beach because why not? And we went and had a beach evening. Like
Yeah.
amazing.
it was so
And
fun.
in Tampa, that's all
In
right.
Tampa.
It was
Yeah.
so fun.
Not
Yeah.
too bad. I agree. I think the best part of it is the people that you meet. Like you have a bestie.
Yeah.
I got into this because of a bestie, John Lynch. This is for you, buddy. John and I became really close. We worked together when I was still there. He worked at Vapor, and we just kind of clicked. And he was my guy. I was literally just texting him yesterday, and he's my guy. You know what I mean? So like. When you're in the trenches, you know what I mean? Like your
Yeah.
bedside people, the people that you're, oh my God, thank God they came in because we're doing a code.
Oh, yeah.
You have that same relationship. So so
Absolutely.
I love that. I love that. So I'm trying to think. I think we covered a lot. Okay. So network. If you want to do this,
Yes.
Absolutely.
realize that it's not the greatest thing. That there are some cons to it.
Absolutely.
But for you guys, the pros outweigh the cons.
Oh,
Which is
absolutely.
fantastic.
100%.
You can meet great people. You can meet great products. You get to see great products. You get to see what's coming soon.
Yeah.
You get to have a big scope. I don't know why not everybody's industry. I always tell my wife I should have done this 10 years ago. Like I really like it. The travel's but I really do like it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I know.
It's awesome. So every time when we do this, we have shout outs to everybody. We need to do some shout outs before we finish. But first, what are we watching on Netflix right now?
So I just got done watching Love is Blind.
Yes.
So obsessed.
we watch Love is Blind together,
Yeah.
and we text each other about it, and we talk
do.
crap about the people on it. That's like,
We
I can't
do.
believe he lied.
Yeah.
Or he didn't do what he said
Can
he
you
was going to
believe
do.
they are still together?
Yes.
This is crazy.
Yes.
So that's
Is that the one that didn't get to see each other?
Yes.
Oh, so fun. And
That's
have you
insanity.
seen? And there are people now that watch it who like will cover it with a curtain, and so the people watching it also are like in the pod, so they can't
Yes.
see. And I think I want to do that next season. I think we should do
Oh,
that.
Okay.
I think we should.
I'm down.
All
I'm
right,
down.
butterflies. I think we're going to start watching Love is Blind.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll have full chat function available.
Yes.
Butterfly group. That is so awesome. Well, thank you, ladies, so much. Let's do some shout outs.
Okay.
Randy?
Shout outs. I'm gonna shout out to Jessica. So
that's so
I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Jessica's been such like a heaven sent to Aerogen, okay?
Aw.
And it's so funny, like walking around the ARC, everyone's like, Jessica, what's up? Everyone knows her, everyone loves her. Truly to know you is to love you. And you have come into Aerogen with so much knowledge and information. You help me every day because where I will say I'm an RN by trade, so there are a lot of things that I may have some questions about, and you are so good with helping me, and I think that's my shout out to you.
How can I top that? You are so sweet.
Oh, you know what? I do what I can, you know.
You have to shout out her.
I know. I'm just like,
No. I won't take it.
yes. Like, how can I say anything nicer than what you just said about me? Oh my gosh. So,
No. You can't do me.
No, talk about how we make such a great dynamic duo as a RN RT best
Yeah.
friend bond. Yes.
That's a good
I'm telling
point.
you, it's such
Yes.
it's a great dynamic. I think it works so well.
I think that's because I'm an RT.
Yeah.
Okay. My shout outs to Jeannie, who's my RN counterpart.
Oh,
at
fun.
Bain with her. And we're like partners in crime. Like she knows the nursing aspect, I know the RT, and we work. It's
Yeah.
that's how you
Yes,
guys work.
absolutely.
Because you just have different perspectives.
Right,
And
100%.
that's just what it is.
And that's a good thing, you know.
Great.
You know, I think sometimes people can take like a relationship like that and you're like, I don't know, sometimes there can be like a negative connotation, but you know, I think you can use it for good, and I think that's
Absolutely.
absolutely what we do.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Diversity of thought is the right thing. And we all touch patients. It doesn't matter what your credentials are.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
100%.
That's awesome. Any other shout outs?
So yes, let's shout out to Carissa Mogenberg, our
100%.
Director of Clinical Education at Aerogen.
Yes.
She is the reason why we're both here,
That's true.
and she is just an amazing leader, and we are so lucky to have her.
Yeah,
That's
we're
awesome.
very lucky to have her. She's amazing.
Funny story. Carissa kept asking me for information, and I kind of was dragging my feet. I think I was upsetting her. And you started, Matt, I need this. I'm like, okay. So, Carissa, that's why I'm here too. So that's so awesome. My shout out is to you guys. Great product. Thank you so much for coming on. But a huge
course.
shout out to Stanley Community College.
Absolutely.
Because that's how we met.
Yeah.
And the great people that were there and still are, like, you're a good therapist
Because of them, yes.
Yeah.
Amy was instrumental, and Ashlyn. Like, I still call them and text them. Like, still to this day, we'll be like, "Hey, I haven't touched an oscillator in quite a bit. Can you send me your PowerPoint on oscillators so I can review it?" So I love them. And then Jamie, she was the peds person, so I'm like calling her all the time, and she actually helped me whenever I went into trying to dabble in peds for a little bit, and I called her all the time to be like, "Hey, I need some help because I don't quite understand this," and she would help me. So all of them have really led me into the future and made
Yeah.
me who I am today.
Well, that makes me think, you know, the RT, my friend Courtney and her dad, that kind of helped me get here. So Robert Johnson, Courtney Johnson, I truly wouldn't be where I am today without them as well, like shaping me, molding me, helping me. Also, I'm on the phone with Robert all the time asking questions about
This is how
all
shout
these
outs
different things.
happen.
I know, I'm like, I'm
How it
starting
works.
to think about all the people now, so.
So
Yeah.
awesome. And to Jamie, who is a dear friend of mine, she worked with me. Jamie, as always, tell Frank we said hi. What an awesome podcast.
Yeah, thank you
Well
for having
done.
us.
Yeah, thanks for
I loved
having
it.
us.
So, shout out to you guys. Shout out to Lisa at ARC. Kicking butt, taking names. Great podcast today. We got more coming up. We'll see each other soon.
Yeah, of
Awesome.
course.
So, from RT Sidebar here at AARC, we are done, and stay tuned. Anna, play the music. You got
do.
I made Mindy and Mandy dance.